What is next for the big name fighters that fought this past weekend? Let's hop right into it. Where do the big fighters go from here? Teofimo Lopez that fought this past weekend. Let's start off with him. My idea for Teofimo Lopez. He was one of the few guys that actually showed up. Now, was it the most entertaining thing in the world? Probably not, but he still showed up. He took care of business and he handled his job. My idea for him, stay at 140 and unify the belts. You can make a fight with Gary Antoine Russell, Richardson Hitchens, or Cambosis winner. Albert Puello. Now, I know he's fighting, already scheduled out something booked there, but the point is, unify these belts. Teofimo Lopez is the best fighter in the weight class, and I believe that he would actually be something that could go and become undisputed at 140 if he so chooses. So if I were him, that's the move I would make for Teofimo Lopez. At the same time, I do recognize that moving up to 147 is on the table for him. If you get the boots at his fight, go ahead and try taking that. I would favor boots in that fight, but Teofimo Lopez, if that's what he wants, can go ahead. My biggest thing for Teofimo Lopez, stick at 140, become undisputed. The only other fight that I could see make sense would be going and fighting Devin Haney. Both guys did win on Friday. Both guys could have a signature win there against two guys that are probably top 15 if you were to say pound for pound. That's a fight that I would like to see have happen. Let's head over to Devin Haney now. If you're Devin Haney, here's who I would project him to go after. Everybody at 147 seems to be wanting Mario Barrios. Even Manny Pacquiao wants him. He's coming out of retirement to try fighting Mario Barrios, and so I think he is the weak link there. When you talk about everybody at 147, whether they be champions or they are top contenders, I feel like Barrios is probably outside the top 8. I would say he's probably just about maybe in the top 10 area. So everybody seems to be gunning for him. If you're Devin Haney, you get the Mario Barrios fight, go get him. I can also see him, but most importantly, I'd say this. I think Devin Haney needs a tune-up fight. That's my personal opinion. I think he needs to go get another fight under his belt, shake off whatever is going on, get some more rounds under his belt, and get going from there. That's why I do say Barrios would fit that qualification, because I do not think Barrios is that top guy. Yes, he's a world champion. I do not want to disrespect world champions. However, I do think he's the weakest link of that top group in 147. So he could go for him. At the same time, winner of Crocker versus Donovan coming up soon. That rematch. Conor Ben, once again, is that necessarily a tune-up fight? No. But that's a lot of money that would be hard to pass up. Although I do think Conor Ben's going to be making the rematch with Chris Eubank Jr., especially now that Ryan Garcia fight's off the table. The Chris Eubank-Conor Ben fight seems to be the one locked in. You could also go for Teofimo Lopez, who I just suggested a moment ago. Gary Antoine Russell, if you stay at 140, go and unify or go after him, go get Gary Antoine Russell. That would be all good fights to make. As for Ryan Garcia, the biggest fight for me, for him to make, is to go do a tune-up fight. He needs it even more so than Devin Haney did. That was a horrible showing against Rolly Romero. No disrespect to Rolly Romero. He had a great performance. I've already given him his praise. The fact of the matter is that Rolly Romero is a good fighter, but the level and potential that Ryan Garcia has of reaching is significantly larger and higher than Rolly Romero. There should be no reason that Ryan Garcia does not defeat him. Therefore, Ryan Garcia needs to go do a tune-up fight. And then following that tune-up fight, he should go fight Rolly Romero rematch or the Devin Haney rematch. I prefer Rolly Romero, but either one would work for me. Let's go to Rolly Romero. Where does he go from here? Well, one, you could have the winner of Crocker versus Donovan. That would be a fight that obviously would be huge. Whoever wins that fight would probably be top 5 in their, in the organization body. So I see that fight being potentially there. The rematch with Ryan Garcia could be on the table. Also, I could throw out one more. Imanta Stanionis. I still like Stanionis. I think Boots Ennis is just that guy at 147. I think Stanionis is still one of the top 5 guys at 147. I think he would destroy Mario Barrios, and I think he'd give Brian Norman Jr. the run for his money. I would like to see that fight. It would be interesting. If Rolly gets that fight, then he's obviously be set for a world championship shot. I just see Rolly Romero, Stanionis does make sense to me. As for Canelo Alvarez, what is next for him? Bud Crawford. Obviously, it's already booked. Canelo, listen, this is the ultimate thing for Canelo Alvarez. We have to understand this. Canelo is in the final fights of his career. There's going to be 3 more guaranteed. The Bud Crawford fight in September, 2 more next year on obviously Cinco de Mayo weekend, Mexican Independence weekend, September. Those are already locked in. Anything past that for Canelo Alvarez is not yet for sure. It's very uncertain if Canelo Alvarez will be fighting past the Riyadh season deal. And therefore, I wanted to say this. Canelo Alvarez, he's only got a handful of fights left. That will be against Bud next. Obviously, that's going to happen. And after that, could it be Chris Eubank Jr.? Sure. Could it be the mega fight of David Benavidez that we all want? Sure. There's many things on the table. But my thing is for him, the end is ultimately near. He's going to be going, obviously, closer to retirement every single fight he fights. Not much to go. I don't think when we look at Canelo, we need to be looking at how does he get to become pound number 1. He's undisputed again. Does he maybe go for Dimitri Bivol? Sure, that could be something to test himself. I don't know what the answer is. What I do know is that the end is coming closer and closer for Canelo Alvarez, and I don't think his mindset should be on being this, pound for pound number one type of guy anymore. I think those days are gone. I think he's now in a position where he's shifting his focus. He's going to make some money, big fights still, and good fights. Let's be honest, Bud Crawford and Chris Eubank Jr., whatever those fights are, would be bigger and more entertaining than what we've witnessed against William Skull and others. So I'm not against that idea. He just needs to ride out however he wants. He's earned that. As for Naoya Inoue, he already has MJ booked for September. Now that could hypothetically be pushed back. They said he took some more damage than people were expecting against Ramon Cardenas, so maybe it could be an October fight. We'll see what happens there. However, yes, Inoue will be fighting MJ, and then in my opinion, it could either be MJ and then a filler fight and then Junto Nakatani, or just MJ straight into Junto Nakatani, and then at that point in time, considering moving up to 126. I don't see, even the way he hinted at that he's going to stay at 122 until he can no longer weigh that weight or weigh in there. I don't necessarily fully buy in that. I feel like he could always make 122 for the foreseeable future. What I think he's mostly referring to is he's going to take his sweet time. In a way, he's going to allow things to kind of develop. MJ is the fight that needs to get taken care of, and then Jiu-Jitsu Nakatani will move up and you have this mega fight. Because once Inoue does move to 126, cutting back to 122 is just very, very unlikely. So I think 126 is still on his radar. He still wants to do it. I think he's just going to wait and hold off up until the Nakatani fight happens. At that point in time, if all goes according to plan, Inoue will likely move up to 126 at that point in time. Let's go to two more guys. Rafael Espinoza. This is a man that was impressive on Sunday. Before the Inoue masterclass and the Inoue Cardenas incredible fight happened, this was a fight that really turned the table for the weekend. He put on a show. He had an incredible performance against Vasquez, and he now sets himself up for a big fight. I'm excited to see him back in the ring again. Here's the table. Inoue is obviously on the table. He could do that fight. Like I just said, I don't think Inoue is fighting for, probably another, maybe even year until he gets to 126. So that might not be on the table. But Inoue Espinoza would be an intriguing fight to make happen. You also have Bruce Carrington, SchuZ Show. That's the most likely fight I see for Espinoza next. I would like to see that fight. I think Bruce Carrington's earned a shot at world title now, and I would not be shocked to see that. Both guys were top rank. I see that fight coming to fruition. You could also have a unification with Nick Ball. I say that because it would be very interesting between having one of the smallest champions ever at featherweight history fighting the tallest champion in featherweight history. Almost a foot separates the two of them. That's the fight that I'd love to see have happen there. Finally, Martin Bakole. Billy Nelson came on and did an interview with The Ring just a little bit ago, and actually Bill Nelson will be coming on this show in 2 weeks now. We just got that book this morning. Just a little bit of insight there. But Billy Nelson talked about the fact that they're going to bring in a nutritionist and strength and conditioning coach. Thank goodness. Martin Bakole has the potential, the God-given ability to go and be a force at the heavyweight division. There is no reason that Martin Bakole is not in that top 5 type tier heavyweights. The only thing holding Martin Bakole back is himself. It's him getting in shape. Now, we could go down this discussion. What was Jared Anderson? How good is he? Is he not very good? Is that why Martin Bakole looked good? I don't know, but what I do know is that Martin Bakole looked his best when he weighed 15 plus pounds less than he fought at the past 2 fights. When Martin Bakole is even touching 300 pounds, it is not a pretty sight. The answer in the situations will quite simply be move around him and get away. And that was against Efe Ajagba. Efe Ajagba was a good fighter. He's not in that top tier of guys, though. If you are going to be Martin Bakole and you're trying to go fight a guy like, let's say, Usyk, it would be an ugly day. Dubois would give him a little bit more chance because Dubois is going to go do a firefight with him as well. But still, those top guys, my apologies, Tyson Furies, those type of guys that are going to be able to move around, Caballel, you talk about those top guys, Joseph Parker, any one of those guys that can move around would give him nightmares. Martin Bakole must get in shape. It has to happen immediately. That's the answer they have to do right now. Martin Bakole needs to stop messing around. He needs to get himself in shape. If he does not cut weight, he's not going to go anywhere. But regardless of that standpoint, the next move for Martin Bakole is a rematch against Efe Ajagba and make a statement in that fight. Get his weight to 280, 285, somewhere in that range. Be in shape, take care of business, do damage to Efe Ajagba, and then reboost your career again. That is the route that Martin Bakole needs to take. No other fight should be on his mind other than getting revenge against Efe Ajagba and doing what he needs to do. He didn't win that fight, in my opinion, nor should it have been a draw. He needs to go out there, make his mark, in a statement that we all know he's capable of doing. If he wants to reach his full potential, he needs to cut his weight, and he'll be A-okay.